and welcome. You are watching the Urban Debate here on Magicbricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. Let's get straight to it then. Ahead of the elections in the state of Karnataka, the government, in its annual Budget 2017 presentation, turned a blind eye to women's safety issues and Bengaluru's dying toxic lakes. What it focused on instead was public transportation systems and a 5 rupee breakfast and 10 rupee meals on the lines of Namma Canteens of Tamil Nadu. Here they're going to be called Namma Canteens in the state of Karnataka. The government also focused on including more buses and strengthening public transport, while the government gave a populist budget. What happened to all the issues Bengaluru has been facing all this while? Issues like women's safety and dying froth-filled lakes. My colleague Sridhar gets us a roundup of the big misses in Karnataka's Budget 2017.
Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah presented a populist budget keeping in mind the upcoming assembly elections as well as the by-elections which is set to take place in Nanjangud and Gundlupet.
Popular budget के साथ एक practical budget है. सर्वोदय all section of community का welfare के लिए एक विविध different schemes है. ये सर्वोदय का budget है.
Bangalore city development, it totally disappointed Bangalore citizens. Introducing this Tamil Nadu system here, Namma Canteen. How this government will going to effectively open that canteens? That we have to watch.
Most important in the women's safety. See, women's safety, not only CCTV cameras, the more budget for the fast track courts. That is completely missing here.
I think it's a fair deal. But whatever money he has, he's tried to spend it the way he wants to. I think we should give him credit for it.
Namma Canteen and hospitals, ambulance every 10 kilometers. So I like that.
I think they made more of a provision for cheaper tickets and cheaper liquor and wine. So I don't know why people have to work. So you'll find more of the antisocial elements up to all kinds of activities around street corners.
No, every time they say people friendly, but nothing will be helpful for this lower class people. Only for upper class.
Karnataka's election budget 2017 is indeed the big talking point right here on the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. And to take it forward, I have with me some very special guests who have joined us already. Harish, advocate and BPAC member, live from Bengaluru. Thank you so much, Harish, for taking time out to be with us. Brinda Adige, activist, of course, as always. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on Magicbricks Now. We also have Dr. Naseer Hussain, spokesperson of the AICC, joining us live from Bengaluru. So we'll be having even more guests joining us. But for now, we're going to start off by thanking all three of them who've chosen to be here with us live straight from Bengaluru. I'm going to start with Dr. Naseer Hussain. Dr. Naseer Hussain, I want to understand how do you view this budget at this point in time? You've heard all the criticisms that have come its way. While there are interesting initiatives put together, public transportation has been addressed. A lot of questions on, say, even the Namma Canteen. Is the amount allocated for it too symbolic? Where is women's safety in the scheme of things? 42 crore rupees is all we hear of. Where are the CCTV cameras? I just want to understand, how do you respond to all the criticisms facing this budget as of now?
Krishna, I think I've been watching, debating, discussing budgets in the past few years, not only in Karnataka, even the union government budgets. What I find is this is one of the best budgets I have seen. It is very inclusive, it is very progressive. It has taken care of all sections of the people living here in Karnataka. It has given a lot to Bangalore city for transport, for lakes, for irrigation, for alleviation of the problems of farmers. Especially, we have been facing drought in the past 2, 3, 4 years continuously. There have been farmers who said lots have been given for irrigation, agriculture and all these things. I don't think, see, because criticism will always be there. For every small thing, people will pick up, this has not been given, this has not been concentrated, some more amount of like concentration should have been done on this sector, that sector. That will always be there. But I think whatever amount that is there with the government of Karnataka, whatever the funds that are available, this is by squeezing in, I think this is the best budget he could have given. I think he has given a very, very progressive budget. I think we should accept that, and maybe there will be criticism. There's something that could be adjusted, that could be brought in. I think that it will be brought in.
All right, Mr. Hussain, Dr. Hussain, you've had your say. We still have Brinda Adige and N. Harish to go. Harish, I'm just going to come to you, but quick comment in from Brinda Adige. I saw you picking up a cup of coffee or chai that you're having over there, and you had a smile on your face when Dr. Hussain was talking. If I can get a quick comment from you, and I'll come back to you as well.
There hasn't been any special mention or any special program vis-a-vis safety and protection for women. Also, there is no special budgetary allocation for enhancing safety and protection of women in this particular budget. We know that whatever Women and Child Development has got, it is to run the programs that are already on and they cannot be stopped. But knowing what has happened over the last couple of months, the increased amount of violence that women have been facing in our city, there has been no mention of these things by the Chief Minister.
All right, Brinda, we seem to be having a bit of a connectivity issue. Your voice is not coming through. We will get back to you. I will come back to you. But for now, let me move on to Mr. N. Harish, advocate and BPAC member. Harish, I want to understand, sir, how do you view this particular budget? Clearly, very little done for two of Bengaluru's biggest problems in recent times. One is women's safety. And we seem to be having a connectivity issue with Mr. N. Harish as well. Just to run everybody through the top, announcements from this year's Karnataka Budget 2017. No VAT on hard liquor or beer, 5 rupee breakfast in Namma Canteens and 10 rupee lunches and dinners, 10 rupee meals in canteens, 10 litre free water to slum dwellers, LPG connection to 5 lakh families, funds for 10 working women's hostels, 2 lakhs to students of minority communities, 10 lakhs for renovation of gurudwaras, 175 crores for the Christian community being allocated in this budget, 7 kilograms of food grains to be given under the Anna Bhagya scheme. These are the top 10 highlights or the pros or the best that the government has done in their budget to address certain sections of the society that they have considered important. So we will be taking this forward with other guests as well, but we still have Dr. Naseer Hussain. Dr. Hussain, I was going to ask you the criticisms to start with because it's been a while for everybody to digest the announcement for the budget and to understand what you're saying. But I just want to understand, we just had the New Year's night of horror in Bengaluru. We've seen the Bellandur lakes and the Vartur lakes going through what they are. I just want to understand, leave the budget alone. What exactly is the government thinking about doing to these things? Don't they require special heightened attention?
See, I think we have been discussing about this lake for quite some time. The government is already on the job. The government is already using some funds from the earlier budget also. They have allocated more budget now, and they said along with these 2 lakes, the other 8 lakes will be taken up. And it is very clearly mentioned in the budget that these lakes will not only be renewed, rejuvenated. It also, if there are some renovations and all, it will be taken up. So what else has to be done there?
Dr. Hussain, just hold your thoughts because we also are being joined by Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty of Namma Bengaluru Foundation. Sridhar, thank you so much as always for taking time out to be with us here on Magicbricks NOW. We also have Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, CEO of another NGO, CEO of Janaagraha, Srikanth and Sridhar Pabbisetty. Thank you both of you gentlemen for taking time out to be with us. Sridhar, I'm just going to ask you for a quick initial comments. If I were to ask you in 30 seconds, how do you view this budget? Your opening comments in 30 seconds, if you can quickly tell me that.
Highly populist budget, but very low on governance. Lot more could have been done. There is no integrated vision of the budget. The Bellandur Lake, Vartur Lake is mentioned as a passe. The fencing budget itself was 32 crores. Now for 10 lakes, they have given 42 crores. There is absolutely no thinking through in terms of allocating monies. Especially when it comes to traffic, a lot more could have been done. The doubling of buses and halving the bus price was a demand. Instead of reducing the bus ticket price, which many people have been demanding, they went ahead and reduced the price of multiplex tickets. And that's really not thinking through. It's very, very bad economics, not really focusing on what people want. Lot of populist measures, 1.5 lakh laptops. For whom? Where? How? Instead, why don't you focus on training?
All right, Sridhar, I got the picture. I gave you 30 seconds. You went a little over that, but pretty much made your point clear. I'll be coming back to you for a detailed analysis of this. I'm going to again ask for a quick opening comment from Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan of Janaagraha, another NGO. In fact, Janaagraha, keep in mind, had asked for people's demands before the BBMP or the Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike budget. Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, if I were to ask you in 30 seconds, does this state budget 2017 fulfill any of those?
20% increase in urban development outlay compared to last year, which is a good thing.
Okay.
However, my short comment is that the government needs to focus very sharply on growing its revenue pie.
Okay.
Right? Because otherwise it's cutting whatever it has between different priorities.
All right.
Let me just give you one data point and close there. Mumbai city has 12 million people and has a budget of 37,000 crores. The urban population in Karnataka is about 24 million people, and the urban development outlay is less than half of the outlay of Mumbai city. So therefore, revenue mobilization of the state government and greater focus therefore on building the city economy and city infrastructure over the next 5, 10, 15 years would be a great priority for the state.
All right. Good succinct analysis of the fact that the spend on urban infrastructure has increased, which is a positive coming out of budget 2017. Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, I will be coming back to you. We also have Mr. N. Harish, advocate and BPAC member, joining us. Mr. Harish, I want to understand in 30 seconds your take on Karnataka budget 2017.
See, it's a populist budget, as Sridhar said. It is keeping the next year election in mind. This budget has been drafted. Implementation may be a difficult task because in the given 1 year time, you will never be able to implement whatever they have promised in this budget. The promises will lay on paper, but can never be seen on the ground at all.
All right, so I see a team of three over there, Brinda Adige, N. Harish and Sridhar Pabbisetty. And I think all three of you are roughly of the same opinion that it is nothing but a populist budget, prepared keeping in mind an election, that is going to come up. And we are also awaiting Mr. Shrinath of the BJP, the BJP State Co-Convenor, Mr. Shrinath. All right. In fact, we do have a Mr. Shrinath. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Urban Debate on Magic Bricks Now. As the BJP State Co-Convenor, may I ask you your take on the budget? If I were to ask you in 30 seconds, if you can tell me what is your initial take on the budget?
Basically, this looks like a populist budget, but even to make it a populist budget, they should have done much more than this.
Okay.
Taking into consideration that it is an election year or something like that. Okay. And secondly, in the last year, whatever the budget allocation was done for Bangalore, particularly, has not been spent at all. And they say that has been postponed to the next year. See, that means 1 year of execution time we lost directly on Bangalore. See, that way an urban development area cannot keep waiting for it. And
but
this
I'm just
budget
going
doesn't really show me anything great about it.
I'm just going to interrupt you a little bit, Mr. S. Srinath. You're also sitting with Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, who said that the only good thing about this budget is that the increased spend on urban infrastructure. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, Srikanth, that's exactly what you said, right? Mr. Srinath, would you then?
Yeah. The point is that there was 7,600 crores allotted for last year, and nothing has been spent on that. And that they have said that is transferred to next year. So that means what activity has been done through the state government in Bangalore urban area is almost zero.
All right.
So I mean, this is other than the 20% what he is talking.
All right, I'm just going to take this back all the way back to Dr. Naseer Hussain. Dr. Naseer Hussain, I hope you've been hearing what people from Janaagraha, people from Namma Bengaluru Foundation have all been saying. What is your rebuttal to that at this point in time?
See, I think I accept what our friend from Janaagraha spoke. I think if there's more revenue, more outlays can be done for urban areas and other areas. Whatever the funding is there, whatever the amount is there in a particular budget, I think any government will squeeze and try and see that every sector, every section, every area of the state is touched. One may say that urban sector is not getting much. The other may say that social sector is not getting much. The other may, one more person can say that rural sector is not getting much. I think in available funds, he has tried to do his best. And every final year of the tenure of any government, this criticism will always be there that this is a populist budget. This is a budget keeping in view of the elections and all. So my point is, see the intention of the government and the outlay that is done, and if they really deliver in that particular year that much amount of that is done. Now, please allow me to speak. Please allow me to speak. Then they will get the people will vote them back. If they don't deliver, people will not vote them back. It is as it is.
All right. I'm just going to bring this back to Brinda Adige and Harish as well. I promised. Brinda, we lost you halfway through your last answer. You know, right now, the common consensus, the biggest criticism is that this is a populist budget, but then Dr. Naseer Hussain is saying that is leveled on any government that is preparing a budget with a year to go for the election. What is the way you view it? Because apart from the fact that nothing much has happened on the women's security front, considering the horrors we've witnessed since the beginning, from the dawn of this year, apart from the women's security not being given enough attention despite the troubles, what would be your take on the budget? Is the problem with this budget that only it is populist, and otherwise it's fine?
Of course, populist, I would like to repeat it again, but we're also looking at how much of it is going to get implemented, if at all. Because if Dr. Naseer is talking about putting into place all of these things that the government is talking about, you have 1 year. What are you going to actually implement? How long is it going to take for you to start the job and finish the job? Because there is no time frame that is being given. A lot of good intentions are there. Again, what is going to be on the road? What is there that people can say that 31st December or 31st March 2018, these are the things that have been delivered. Bangalore has become safer. Bangalore has become more cleaner. Women and children are protected. Is there something that we can say? Because when we talk of any kind of a program, we need to talk of outcomes and we need to talk of impact.
Absolutely.
And that is where it is lacking.
All right. It is not just the fact that it's a populist budget, it's the fact that it does not have roadmap, timelines, time frames of some of the good intentions expressed in the budget as to when they will reach completion or near completion. I'm going to take one more word in from Mr. N. Harish, and then I will get back to Dr. Naseer Hussain. Mr. N. Harish, how much do you concur with Brinda Adige?
100%. Reason is, see, what is practically possible and implementable on the ground, only that they should have promised in this budget. And what they are unable, they are trying to spread over the outlay to all the sectors, which may be difficult to achieve in the given span of time. See, if they are talking about 300 crore for stormwater drain and the lake rejuvenation and other things, Koliwad Committee on the lakes and stormwater drain has not yet submitted its report. It has been extending its day by 3 months, 4 months and things like that. And pedestrian in development 200 crore, they have said, you see what is happening on Ruputanga Road, 4 months time is the timeline given. I guarantee you on this channel that you can never complete that in 4 months time. You will know that by this particular project, you will know whether the rest of the things in this budget can be implementable in the 1 year's time. This is what I feel is just to satisfy all the sectors. They have drawn this outlay plan of this budget. This is not the practical way of formulating a budgetary allocation for all the departments. Whatever is possible, you should try to budget it and place it before the public. Right. There are a lot of things like metro rail, BBM, 3,000 flats for BDA. Go and see the flats in Kengeri. They are not sold even today. And 3,000 flats if you do with BDA, the track record of BDA is selling the same site to 2 and more people. And what is the status of those flats? You go see there, they are not in inhabitable condition at all. And now you are announcing another 3,000 flats from BDA. 1 lakh housing under the CM's housing scheme, you have said. Where is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? The existing ones are not being sold. And they are not at all in occupiable condition at all.
Point taken, Mr. Harish. Where, when, what and how is not what the budget document possesses. Does it, Dr. Naseer Hussain?
See, I think let us not criticize or oppose certain points in the budget just for the heck of it. Or just because we have been called for a discussion and we have to oppose it, let us not do that. See, you have to always go with the intention. So if you if you don't bring a particular sector in the outlay of the budget, then you criticize that this sector has not been brought in. When you touch that sector, then you say that this is a populist budget, and you are just trying to appease and touch every sector. That is how you criticize. See, if there are some low standard, substandard houses or flats that have been constructed by some BD at some point of time, so do you mean that we shouldn't go ahead with providing housing facility to others? Do you mean that unless those 2,000-3,000 or 500 or whatever number of flats that are there, substandard flats constructed by some people in BD at some point of time, do you think we shouldn't go ahead with providing housing facility to anyone? And most of these outlets, especially in Bangalore, tender shoe roads, that has been already happening, drainages that have been already happening, roads that have been already happening. These are all only the outlays for the extension of the work that is already going on, and some new projects are coming up. So that means, so you shouldn't come with any project which can't be completed in 1 year. We will try to complete in 1 year. If you complete it is fine. If it doesn't complete, extra time will be taken for that. Whether we are there or somebody else comes after 5 years.
All right. Dr. Hussain, please hold on. There are a lot of people want to get back to you. I know, Mr. Srinath, I'm coming to you. But quickly, a quick rebuttal from me. I need to take this to Sridhar Pabbisetty and Srikanth Viswanathan as well. Please, Mr. Srinath, quick rebuttal on your part.
Yeah, you see, this comes under BBMP. Why you should talk about this budget to the BBMP issue? See, the point is that a lot of allocations were made in the last budget. Quite a lot of them have not been utilized, including Uttar Karnataka Development Fund. You touch any of them, there is a lot of gap left out in that. And I don't have the data with me on quite a lot of things, but few I can say is this Annabhagya Yojana, all these things. There has been they have mishandled the whole thing in the last 1 year, and again they are trying to say that they are going to bring in the canteen facility, this one at a very low price. I don't know how they will be able to do it. They promised 30 kgs of rice, and now they are even giving only 2 kgs of rice for the below BPO group.
Fair enough.
See, the point is, it is not consistent in delivering. It is not delivering.
Cool.
It is not the budget. What you see now, the central budget, when it came, we had the revenue model of how much was spent on that day and how much is being spent in the next 2 months before March 31st. See, now that clarity doesn't exist in this. Unless you know what has been spent, how can you say last year budget was good? We have no reference this one to clearly say that last year they have done well. If they had done well, they would have put up that data with it. And most of the budgets have not been utilized. And with all that, we have a loan of around 2,44,000 crores.
All right.
See, that is what is, what I am telling you is the finance is mishandled and not properly thought of. That is where the problem comes.
All right. Dr. Hussain, I'm going to ask you for a quick rebuttal. I need to take this to Sridhar Pabbisetty and Srikanth Viswanathan. Dr. Hussain, please go ahead, quickly.
Right.
See, I think Mr. Srinath is contradicting himself. He doesn't have the data of what has happened in the last 1 year and what is going to happen now. Without the data, he is just giving blanket statements. I would like to just tell him that we in the Indian National Congress, we not only give development oriented budget, we also think about the welfare of the people, welfare of the masses. See, your own Prime Minister has
I can tell you, Hyderabad development,
the social security
not even
scheme of
50%
Narega,
spent.
and then in the budget he, please allow me to speak. Please allow me to speak.
Yeah.
And the same Prime Minister extended, increased the funds for Narega. So you are criticizing the Annabhagya. In case if you come back, which you will not come back in the next 5 years, you will increase the budget for that. This is how you people work. Please don't do blanket statements here or don't do blanket criticism.
All right.
If you have data, you please put it in front of the panel for discussion.
All right. Gentlemen, please hold your thoughts. I'm just going to take this to Mr.
Hyderabad Karnataka, you can take it. Hyderabad Karnataka Development Fund, you can take it. Only 50% has been spent out of 2,500 crores.
All right. Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty and Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, you've been hearing the politicians have a go at each other. In fact, before we go to Sridhar Pabbisetty and Srikanth Viswanathan, there's something that will... Both of them...
Just 1 second. Krishna, 1 second.
Go ahead, sir.
Krishna, can you just come in for a second? Somebody was speaking about Hyderabad Karnataka Fund. I think that is under some Nanjundappa committee recommendation. Please check out that fund is for how many years? that fund is, I think, for a period of some years. It is not for 1 year.
Okay.
Please check
we
that.
will.
I may be wrong. Also, please
for
check.
a period of 3 years, 2,503 crores was given. After 3 years, even 50% has not been spent. Agreed. I say it is for 3 years. Nanjundappa committee, 2,500 crores was given for 3 years, and not even 50% has been spent till date. After completion of 3 years.
Dr. Hussain?
Yeah, and the same thing applies for basically minorities and backward this one.
I think it was.
Tell me.
I think it was for a Nanjundappa committee report. I think had recommended for spending about some amount of fund for a period of 10 years. I think, as I remember, it was for a period of 10 years.
3 years it was. No,
all right, gentlemen, I'm really going to have to intervene in this right now. We will get into the Nanjundappa committee report in a bit, but we're really moving away from the focus. Dr. Hussain and Mr. Srinath, please hold your horses. We have other panelists whom we need to go to. We cannot be concentrating on you two. I've allowed both of you to have your say and your comebacks.
Okay.
Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty and Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, time now to discuss these things with you. You are the activists who do all that's possible. And Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty, you'd be happy to know that we have some fresh footage of the Bellandur Lake. This comes from our viewer, one of Magicbricks Now's viewer. I'm just going to put that footage up for everybody to see on the channel right now. Look at its condition. Those are latest visuals of Bellandur Lake. That's not from a week ago. That is from today. Simple question. Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty, is 42 crore rupees enough to clean up all of this? And it is not just one lake, all other toxic lakes. 42 crore rupees, Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty?
So if you remember just, last evening's episode where Dinesh Gundarao was saying that the long-term measures will take 600 crores, the short-term will take 60 or 80 crores only for Bellandur and Vartur lakes. Now where is that money? There is a 42 crore allocation for 10 lakes of Bengaluru and followed by comprehensive development of Bellandur and Vartur lakes with no budget mentioned. What is happening? Why is the government not able to read the expert committee report and say and allocate a budget that's appropriate for it? Just the fencing cost for Bellandur Lake, which some of the local activists have said is 32 crores, has already been spent and the fencing is not complete. Now, I really don't know if people know numbers within the party and if Mr. Naseer Hussain speaks to Mr. Dinesh Gundarao or not, or they even know how to read the expert committee report.
All right, Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, if you want to take off from where Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty left off.
Yeah, I want to make three fairly nuanced points.
Okay.
Points. The budget is a tool for public financial management. It is not necessarily meant to act as a detailed action plan with outcomes and timelines and so on.
All right.
The tool that is those issues of delivery on the ground are very important, but we need a different instrument for that, like a city blueprint or something. Therefore, the important thing as far as the budget is concerned, what is worrisome, is that the budget size of Karnataka is not growing fast enough to accommodate the aspirations and infrastructure requirements of the state. Karnataka is a state that is urbanizing pretty fast. The urbanization rate is growing from 37% to close to 60% in the next 3 decades. Unless the state uses the urbanization to drive economic growth, it is not going to be able to find the money to fulfill the aspirations of people and deliver infrastructure and services to all citizens of Karnataka. That essentially means that we need to mobilize revenues. The ability to mobilize revenues hinges on the ability and the willingness of the state to focus on the revenue side rather than just the expenditure side. You would notice that today a large part of the discussion is focused on the expenditure side of the budget, which is important, but that's not the only side. There's a revenue side which often gets left out in public discourse. The third aspect, linking that revenue side to Bangalore, there are two things which are pressing in Bangalore. One, that a lot of Bangalore related provisions should ideally not be finding a place in the state budget. They should be finding a place in the budget of the civic agencies of Bangalore, predominantly the BBMP. The reason that is not happening is the financial status of the civic agencies of Bangalore is really very poor, and this has happened over the last 5 to 10 years over a period of time. And our studies reveal that the financial status of the civic agencies of Bangalore is poorer compared to even the other smaller cities in India. Now, therefore, some of the key provisions which should have found a place in the budget and which the government should focus systematically in the next in the next months and the next 2 to 3 years is fixing the balance sheet of the civic agencies of Bangalore. Between the BBMP and the BWSSB and perhaps the other two agencies also, there is debt of about 6,000 crores that is sitting on their balance sheet. The interest liability of all of this is anywhere between 300 and 500 crores. This completely binds their hands from making realistic investments in the infrastructure for Bangalore. Therefore, they are able to invest only as much as the state is able to give them, and the state in turn is constrained by the budget size. Therefore, what we need is investments to fix what are called city systems of the city so that Karnataka is able to urbanize well. Essentially, 4 areas. One, we need to focus on spatial planning of our cities and make investments in finding good spatial planners and making investment in that process. Second, we need to focus on municipal finances and municipal staffing. Third, we need to focus on a systematic roadmap of fiscal decentralization to all urban local bodies, but specifically to civic agencies of Bangalore. And fourthly, one of the examples which came up from today's discussion is it's becoming very difficult to read and understand the budget statement and discuss it sensibly. Therefore, we need to make investment in transparency and citizen participation, especially in budgeting. With modern technologies and design and communication that is available, government budgets can become less boring and more engaging with citizens. They can use infographics, they can make it in color, it can become easier to read and so on.
Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan, I think you've given the most sane understanding or the sane perspective right now possible, because even as we're getting enraged at a certain amount of money not being allocated for the crucial issues crippling Bengaluru on top of mind over the last couple of months, be it the lakes or women's safety. I think you've given an entire perspective on how endemically this has been wrong for a really long period of time, starting with the fact that the budgets for a city like Bengaluru and the rest of Karnataka need to be sort of delineated for it to make sense. Thank you so much for that, Srikanth. And keeping that as the base, I'm just going to get back to to the other people on the panel. Brinda Adige, Mr. N. Harish, you've been watching all of this. You've heard the politicians have a go at each other. You've heard both the activists speak out. This problem of urbanization of Bengaluru, of the state of Karnataka, is indeed the big problem, isn't it? Because that eventually leads to other problems like women's safety, like every other issue, like fast urbanization means your lakes are going to be that much more polluted. But the lack of planning of urbanization for a state which is getting urbanized anywhere between 30 to 60% now and over the next 5 to 10 years, that is the essential crux of the problem, isn't it? Brinda, I'm going to start with you.
Absolutely. We know that migration is very high, and Bangalore, commercialized, developing, urbanization. My personal concern is the safety of women and children. You're looking at women who are engaged in construction work, women engaged in unorganized sector, and women per se in the organized sector. There is no safety that they can talk of or they can boast of in the present budget. Because we know that a lot of laptops and all of that has been given, but there is not even a mention that there would be additional CCTV cameras. We have also noticed that there is no special mention that some new program could be there or enhanced so that women feel safer. Besides that, I would like to put onto force over here the whole concern for women. We had this entire strike by the women from the garment sector. Besides all of those pay and salaries, we know that these women are not safe inside. They do not even have ample facility for toilets. And this is something even women in the construction sector, unorganized sector face. Srikanth also spoke about, Sridhar also spoke about not getting the transportation. There is no bus system and the bus fare is so high. All of this comes back to urbanization, and there is no concern that has been given as to what should be put into place so that women and children are safe. Day in and day out, we have found that women are being abused, women are raped, and children are also caught in this. And the mention that was already made of a special court, there are no special courts. The number of cases that have been filed over the last 1 year in Bangalore city under POCSO itself goes over 300. At what stage are these cases? What is happening to all our children? What has happened to the children's homes? What is the support that is being extended to them? These are major questions, and that this budget does not answer.
Mr. Harish, I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to take this to Sridhar Pabbisetty as well. Mr. Harish, I want to understand. Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan put forward a very, very clear, nuanced point that all of this is simply because Karnataka is rapidly urbanizing. There is no clear plan on how to make the civic bodies more accountable. There is no clear plan on how to expand the revenue pie. And hence comes all the other problems in terms of allocation. Allocation comes later. How do you, first of all, get the money in the kitty to expand your allocation in the first place?
See, if you look at the finance department overview of the budget, there is a statement here of tax arrears as it stood on 31st March 2016, a year back. Commercial tax 10,791 crores arrears. Tax collection was not made. This is causing revenue deficit. Okay, as it stood on 1st April 2016. Excise 827 crores. Motor vehicle tax 60 crores. These are all arrears which they have not been able to collect because the officers at the ground level are not doing their duty in the right spirit. And stamp and registration 82 crores. Total deficit in tax arrears which as it stood on 31st March 2016, that is as on 1/4/2016, is 11,762 crores. This much of revenue collection is not done. Then where is that revenue going to come from?
Absolutely.
If this is the tax arrears which is there at the beginning of the year in your balance sheet, then what is that you are going to spend when you are not getting the required revenue which is there in your books, which you know that very well you have to collect? Lot of default happens in these things, and in almost in all the pockets of the urban bodies like the BBMP, there are some areas, the newly added 110 villages, the tax collection is very poor there because half of the houses over there are all unauthorized construction. They don't pay tax. They are not accounted in the Kata register, so they are free to enjoy that without paying tax. Though they have been asked to pay tax, they don't come forward to pay. They are waiting, sitting on the fence for the Akrama Sakrama to come in. Now the matter is before Supreme Court. See, this is what happens. The genuine taxpayer is the man who is always troubled. The people who do all unauthorized activities, they get caught, they go scot-free without paying anything and enjoy the benefit at the same time. This revenue collection is a major issue because you have to hold all the officers accountable in all these revenue sector, whichever department is in charge of revenue collection, because that is the income to the department. You see, as Srikanth was saying, the BBMP is not having money. All the civic agencies, there was a point of time when BDA was supposed to be shut down. That's when Jaikar Jerome came in and he revived it. After recovering all the encroached properties and auctioning and getting the money into the coffers. But still, there are a lot of departments where revenue collection is very poor. If this revenue collection is not tapped in the right way to collect it, then you will not have fund in the government to cater to all the sectors which they are talking about. This is one thing which they have to focus on every year to see that enforcement is very important. And
Absolutely.
As far as traffic management is concerned, the police department, whether it's traffic, law and order, crime, anything, they are understaffed, overstressed and overworked. You go to a station, 8 o'clock they come, they don't know whether they'll go back by 5 o'clock, they'll go back by 11 o'clock. POXO cases, you said, there is a statement in the budget that the child protection policy was implemented. You verify in all the schools in Bangalore city, it is not totally implemented. If that is the case, the recent sexual assault in the school on the small child would not have taken place.
All right, Mr. Harish, the point is taken. The point is taken, Mr. Harish. I'm just going to take this to Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty. Sridhar Pabbisetty, we discuss the lakes all the time. Is it, Shrinath, Mr. Shrinath, I will come to you as well after I'm done with Sridhar Pabbisetty. Sridhar, isn't it clear that the lakes are what they are simply because the BBMP does not have enough money to fix it in the first place?
I don't think it's a problem of money. I think it's 1.5 lakh crores that we are spending this year. And I think if we are really disciplined, then we can definitely have the money that's required. An instance here is the replacement for the steel flyover. Sanity has at last dawned on the Congress party, and in the budget they have said that only 88 crores is enough for us to put additional ramps at Hebal and fix the underpass or the surface road that will decongest the place. So you have to be smart in the way you plan for your city. You can't have 2,000 crore budget project for something that could have been solved at 88 crores. So this lack of prudence is what is resulting in all the problems. Many of the allocations for lakes, etc., are actually sourced from money that comes from registration of new properties, etc. There is enough amount of fund flow that happens with every new property that's registered. About 1 lakh goes to BDA, if I'm told, or whatever mechanism. But there is surcharge that's there for protecting the lakes. It is complete mismanagement and lack of accountability on the part of the government. And Naseer Hussain may say that we are opposing for the sake of opposing, but he's actually trying to defend the indefensible. There is nothing for him to defend of saying that why the lakes are in such a bad situation. And even after so much deliberation, you pass on a paltry sum of 42 crores for 10 lakes, and you also mentioned Bellandur and Vartur in the same breath without even knowing the implication of that. Just 24 hours before, his colleague Mr. Dinesh Gundara comes and says 600 crores are required for long-term project, long-term rejuvenation of Bellandur and Vartur lakes. Where is the math adding up? Is there somebody who knows the numbers in that place? And talking about revenue deficits, here is a budget where it waives off the VAT on the spirits. You have alcohol, you have beer and everything, you want to waive off VAT. What kind of economics is this? You don't want to be prudent yourself. You want to raise off, you want to wipe off your revenue sources of like that. And thirdly, you don't reduce the bus fare, but you want to regulate the private sector multiplex fare. Right? So somewhere bad economics is at the core of this budget, and that's what has to be set right.
Right, I'm going to get a quick word in from Mr. Shrinath of the BJP, and then I'll take this back to Dr. Naseer Hussain.
Yeah.
Mr. Srinath, please, Srikanth Viswanathan, I'll come to you as well. Mr. Srinath, first have your say quickly.
Yeah, as we are discussing about the revenue portion, the state government has said that because of demonetization, the stamp duty collection is low by 25%. But you need to note that direct and indirect taxes collections have gone beyond, and central government has given them additionally, they have received 18,000 crores on that, and about 1,000 crores on additional subsidies. And this is other than the VAT collection, which has increased in November, December and January. So I do not know, it is only the real estate area which was slightly low for stamp duty collection. Other than that, every area has given them the revenue. And I think they cannot complain on revenue. I think it is they really allocated work on that to complete things with a time frame. Otherwise, I don't think this budget really makes any sense to us.
Srikanth Viswanathan, you were going to say something. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that we don't have to reinvent the wheel in terms of finding solutions to some of these things. Cities and provinces in countries like Mexico, Brazil, South Africa, Philippines, South Korea, etc. have solved their urbanization problems slightly better than our cities and states. And they do this by primarily focusing on the city as a unit of economy and of governance. And the logic works like this. Cities are places where people live and work. So you need great housing and you need jobs. To create jobs, you need to attract investments in manufacturing and services. In order to attract investments in manufacturing and services, you need to provide high levels of productivity, sustainable transport for people to travel from work to from home to work, and you need to provide good infrastructure and service delivery for those industries and companies to record better growth rates. And if you work backwards from here, they make sure that in order to operate these companies and to increase productivity and growth, you need good quality talent. And good quality talent will not come to cities unless you offer them reasonable quality of infrastructure and services. So this is treated the world over as an urban economy problem, and then work backwards, and they fix these 4 city systems which I outlined earlier: spatial planning, municipal finance and talent, decentralized powers and legitimacy to elected city councillors in the city, and transparency and citizen participation. All we need to do is focus on city systems, take a leaf out of the book of provinces like Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil and Jeobalok do in South Korea.
All right, Srikanth Viswanathan there, not just pointing out the problem, but also giving actual solutions. Srikanth, I'm going to take this Dr. Hussain right now. We've been talking for a while. We need to understand what he has to say. And at this time, we have to appreciate the fact that one move has to be appreciated. The tax has been hiked on bikes, pushing people towards taking public transport, sort of what, say Singapore does with their cars in terms of, ownership, making it so difficult, that you sort of push people to take it to public transportation. But the question is how good the public transportation is in the first place. Srikanth, please go ahead before I take Dr. Hussain.
Yeah, no, just one small point, because we were talking about public investment and revenue mobilization. One point that I found interesting in the budget is that it mentioned that government land worth 1 lakh crores has been recovered in the Bangalore urban district from encroachments. So I thought that's an interesting point, and it could potentially yield more revenues to the government.
Point there. Krishna, I have a point there.
Please come in, sir.
Yeah, so that's actually an outcome of the writ petition that we from Namma Bengaluru Foundation have filed in the Karnataka High Court to recover 16 lakh acres of public land, and what they have recovered is paltry pittance of that. And that again shows the inefficiency of the government, and I hope Naseer Hussain will commit to what he has to say on that. 16 lakh crores is an amount of land that is encroached upon, and they even wanted to claim it in the budget speech.
All right, Dr. Hussain, you've heard out, and you have to appreciate the fact that this panel is not throwing just criticisms at you. We have some people, activists talking to you about how exactly this needs to go, what needs to, fundamentally we need to get right in state budgets. This time around, Karnataka being the focus of it all. I want to understand 16 lakh crore rupees just from the point of view of increasing the revenue pie of the state of Karnataka. What exactly is being done?
I think I should appreciate the way Srikanth Viswanathan has tried to bring in various issues, which probably not only my government, if there is some other party's government also, I think these are the areas which has to be taken up, which has to be looked into for a holistic development of the entire state. I think by the kind of development that is happening across the country in the last 10-15 years, I think the issues raised by Mr. Viswanathan are very, very relevant, and especially for those areas where the migration is heavy in terms of people migrating from rural area to urban and semi-urban areas. I think those facilities, what he was speaking of, I think they are all very relevant, and any government and my government should also look into it. Coming back to what Mr. Pabbisetty was saying, I have been seeing Pabbisetty's one-point approach in all the debates, especially in your channel and other news also. I think he was there. His one point, this thing is to criticize the government. His and his foundation's view is always anti-government. Anti-government on every issue. His foundation, the founder of his foundation, everyone are anti-government.
Dr. Hussain.
Because we know what kind of an allegiance they have to. So let me not get into too much of what Mr.
Hussain can come into the merit of the debate.
Dr. Hussain, let's stay away from vitriol against any particular panelist. I think it's unnecessary. I think, Dr. Hussain, you cannot be targeting a panelist. I just want you to understand what is your point.
Mr. Hussain, have you had the wisdom to read the expert committee report?
Gentlemen, only one person talks can be heard. I'm just going to put down the volume of everybody right now because I don't think anything can be heard right now. Everybody is just screaming. We just have...
Allow me to complete, please.
Yeah, we all had our say, Mr. Pabbisetty. I understand that he cannot be taking you on individual like that. Dr. Hussain, I suggest and I request you that you don't target any particular panelist. We're all here to express our opinions. So I just want you to go ahead and give your version.
Please allow me to complete.
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Please allow me to complete. Second, it is not about regenerating one lake or building one road or giving priority to one sector only in the city of Bangalore. I think the budget is for the entire state. Budget is for the people of the state. People are more important than the facilities. Facilities are there for the people. I agree with that. All the facilities are there for the people. I agree with that. I think we should put the people first. People first while preparing any budget. I think there are various issues concerning the people of the state, and the government, especially the Chief Minister, has tried to touch every single aspect of the every single aspect. Can I complete, please? Can I complete?
You want me to talk about women's hostel? If you are talking about...
All right, Mr. Shrinath, I will give you time. Mr. Shrinath, I will give you time. I'll get back to you. Brinda Adige also wants to have a point to make. Dr. Hussain, please go ahead, complete your point.
Money spent on education, on agriculture, on farmers, on women, on child, on making this state as a child labor free zone. Everything, on every issue he has tried to touch in detail. But the only point is, there may not be enough money that has been allotted for a particular project which that project may need. So if there is something which is, if the government falls, there is a shortfall, they will always rectify it, or they will always add to the allocation that is made to a particular project. Because some committee has recommended X amount of money and the government is not allotting that much of money, that pains Mr. Pabbisetty. He says that 1800 crores was allotted for the steel flyover because the government wanted to take cut. So I would say the government doesn't want to take cut. That's why they will reduce the money to 44 crores. So let us not get into those details. What is more important is whether every section, every category, every area of the state is touched or not touched within the available resources. I would really appreciate the way Mr. Harish was speaking, that certain revenues which could have been collected in this year earlier year, if they have not been collected, I think those areas can be highlighted where the government needs to look into it, and maybe the government has to rectify those areas.
All right, Dr. Hussain.
I think that is a credible and very valid criticism which Mr. Harish has brought in. But let us not get to why 44 crores, why not 50 crores? I think these are very small issues which Mr. Pabbisetty always gets stuck in.
I think Brinda Adige has a big issue that she wants to bring to your notice. Brinda Adige, please go ahead.
There are two issues that I want to point out. You mentioned that the two-wheelers have, the price of two-wheelers have increased so that the bus facility can be used. And Mr. Naseer was talking about facilities and services. How do you make any kind of a comparison that if a two-wheeler price is raised, that students or even other middle-class people are going to start using the bus when the bus fare has not decreased? It continues to be at the same high price, and the bus facilities have not been increased. The bus timings are not conducive to many working people as well as students. Secondly, talking about facilities, the budget talks about hostels for women. What is the safety aspects of these hostels? Who are these hostels for? How many of the women are going to be making use of those hostels? Now, those are very pertinent questions we need to ask. Is it for students? Is it for working women? Is it for your skill training program? What are these hostels for? What is the kind of budget allocation that you have made over there? And we've already seen that there was 2-3 weeks ago, the case of this rapist who has been going into different women's hostels. Here we are talking of safety. Here we are talking again of protection. Nothing of that has been mentioned. These are serious concerns, and this is what we are challenging and asking you, saying what is the special emphasis made for safety and protection of women as a result of past cases and experiences we have had over here.
Brinda, I'm going to take this back to Dr. Hussain quickly. Dr. Hussain, simple question. How soon will you be able to build these women hostels?
You are telling. No, one second. Before they build the hostel.
Can I?
All right.
Before they build the hostel.
All right, Dr. Hussain,
yeah,
we'll just finish with Shrinath to finish.
Before they build on the existing hostels, the BJP Mahila Morcha submitted a report. A room which could accommodate 5 women accommodates 30 of them, and they have no beds to sleep. They sleep in the corridors on paper. And the problem is
the existing condition is pathetic enough. That point is taken, Mr. Srinath.
Don't you think they should give a better condition in that?
Fair enough. The point is taken, Dr. Hussain. How soon will you be able to build these women hostels?
Do it in 1 year.
Dr. Hussain.
Before building, at least let them do
Mr. Srinath, point taken. Mr. Srinath, point taken. We need to let Mr. Hussain have a say.
Sir, that's what we asked. Are you going to build it in 1 year?
Yes. Dr. Hussain, your answer.
I think Ms. Brinda raised 2 issues. One was about the extension of public transport system, and she was referring to the bikes which you had referred earlier. I think 3,000 buses have been planned for the BMTC alone, and I think 3,250 or something for NWKRCT, and something else for the other sector of buses also. I think that is already mentioned in the budget. As you share, I think the government has not tried to bring down the bus fares. Probably they must have thought that that justifies those fares, justify the available.
Fair enough. Point taken. What about the women's hostels, sir?
Rates and whatever it is. So they have not touched that point. But the number. Can I complete, please?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
The point number 2 is about the women's hostel. It is, see, I think they have mentioned working women's hostel. They have mentioned post-matric SC/ST hostels. They have mentioned hostels in various categories. And all those categories, I think women will be a part of all those categories, apart from the working women's hostel, which they have clearly mentioned. And I agree with the BJP spokesperson that it is not only the building of the new hostels, the older hostel existing infrastructure that is there for the students, working women, I think those should also be upgraded.
All right. I must say it has been a rather extensive discussion on a state government's budget. We only wish here at Magicbricks that every single state government's budget is put through the kind of analysis that we are putting the Karnataka budget 2017 here at on the Urban Debate on Magicbricks. I'm going to start thanking every single panelist who have taken time out. Brinda Adige, N. Harish, Dr. Naseer Hussain, Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetty, thank you so much as always, sir, for taking time out to be with us on this debate as sportingly as you've always been, and Dr. Hussain as well, and Mr. Shrinath of the BJP, and Srikanth Viswanathan. I'm going to thank all six of you for being here in the Urban Debate and helping us understand what needs to be done and what needs to be happening from here on. Thank you all of you, and with that, we wrap things up here on this very special edition of the Urban Debate on Magicbricks Now. Thank you so much for watching.